Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable, and can you believe we've got blue skies and for a short period of time at least no rain, which for those of us who live in London or around the south of England, you'll know what I mean. It's much appreciated, and for our northern fellows, they've got a lot of snow at the moment, so there'll be the runners out there that are training for their marathons who are having to run in the snow, so think ourselves lucky, I suppose. But it's a very special day today because it's the start of my marathon training block. I did a half marathon at the weekend and that was like a baseliner for me, and now today is kind of the start of my training block, so I'm officially starting my plan. So on my list today I've got 10k easy, so 6 miles easy, which I'm going to do. It's also a special day because it's my birthday today. I've reached the happy heights of 52, and I'm feeling pretty good for that age actually. I've been looking after myself for quite a while now. I think I got to my sort of late 30s, 40s, and had a bit of a lull period where things got a bit rough, and then I kind of got a grip with myself, and then since mainly since I got out of hospital with my accident, I've really looked after myself and concentrated on eating well, drinking well, tequila in New Year. You know what I mean? A healthy lifestyle, but I do like to party as well, and I think that's good for my mental health as well. I looked after myself. That's when the running started, and I feel I'm pretty good for 52, to be honest. I still like to mix it with the younger guys when we do the races. I think it's important to challenge yourself, and there's some real physical specimens now out there. You know, running has changed a lot recently. I think with the advent of things like high drops and various other things, you're now getting men and women that are real kind of physical athletes, and you look at them and you think, yeah, they look after themselves. They're down the gym. They're strong runners as well. Don't let the size of them and the weight of them fool you that they're not quick, because they are. The running is changing, and no longer is it the pursuit of these kind of waif guys that you look like you could blow over. It's becoming more and more of a physical sport, and when you see the top Kenyans, they're hard as nails, right? You would not mess with these guys. They may look skinny and they may look frail, but they're not anything but. They're hard as nails. So it is a sport actually that various different elements of society are now embracing. It's coming together, and you see at these race meetups, you see different types of people I love. And there's this one guy behind me doing the PB valve, which I actually saw I broke, and he took his top off and he was completely ripped. He looked like a bodybuilder, right? And he finished in 1:20, so a minute in front of me. He's a younger guy, but I was thinking, Jesus, how do you carry that frame around with you so quickly? And the truth is, they're just conditioned to do that. You know, they work at it. It's hard work. He obviously spends a lot of time in the gym, a lot of time looking after himself, and likes to show people that he spends a lot of time in the gym as well. So fair play. That's up to him. I've got nothing against that. Why not? It's a status symbol, isn't it? If you're looking good. But yeah, for us older guys it's more challenging, and women it's more challenging, but you got to stick at it, and that's what I'm doing. And I try and keep my health as much as possible in the ascendancy, and it helps for the training box. So like I said, today's going to be an easy 10k. I'm going to do it nice and chilled. I've got my Novablast 5s on. I couldn't think of anything better actually than wearing these today. There you go. They're a bit muddy already. I want to just enjoy the start of this block and enjoy my birthday. And forget about how old I'm getting, because old age is just a number, right? For us older people, don't worry about it. I mean, I was partying with the best of them at 3:30 a.m. on New Year's Eve, right? And I still like to do that, so I haven't lost that yet. Runnable Ed is still up for fun, right? Even at that grand old age of 52. Anyway, that's all I want to say today. I'll continue to do some run footage, my thoughts on the run. You know, this is an easy run, so probably not going to be a lot to say. Well, might be a bit boring, but if you want to watch it. You might get something out of it, and you may not, but you might just want to listen to my dulcet tones. You never know. Otherwise, tune in, continue to tune in. Hopefully you come with me on this journey, and I can come with you on yours, and we can share tips, advice, and how we're feeling. And let's build a bit of a community around this training block. Let's go and smash these marathons, right? Yeah, and I've got the afternoon off, which is great. So I'm going to go from here. I'm going to run around the park, go to the gym, do a bit of strength and conditioning, and then I'm going to have a nice long bath, loads of magnesium salts, and then I'm going to go to cinema to watch something. I don't know yet. My daughter. So I'm going to decide. So I'm going to go with my daughters. Anyway, I'll see you later, and take care, everyone. Bye bye. So, start of my London Marathon training block. I always like to do quite an easy, on the first day, quite an easy 10k. I like to ease my way back into what is essentially going to be a 6-week period of base training, which means basically I'm going to be really kind of building up my mileage, building up my fitness, trying to increase my endurance, and starting to get those fitness levels back that I had during my training block for Chicago and Berlin last year. So it's important for me not to rush into doing too many hard workouts or anything like that. My first month or month and a half is literally about building mileage. 80% of my runs are going to be slow, or slow for me anyway, and then we're going to do 20% speed work, so tempo work. So my plan probably looks a bit like this. Monday, somewhere between 10 and 15k slow. Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how I'm feeling, will be my long mileage day. So let's say it's Tuesday. I'll be doing 15 miles, maybe 20 miles when I get further into my base training. So the idea will be, by the end of base training, I'll have done a couple of 20 miles and got my body used to going that distance, but they will be slow. They won't be at marathon pace, and that is key. None of my base training, apart from the speed work, will be quicker than marathon pace. So 80% of my running will not be at marathon pace, it will be below. And that's really important, because this is about building fitness and getting your body ready to take on those key workouts closer to your actual race day. And you can apply this kind of logic to other race distances. Obviously, the shorter the race distance, the less time you need to train for it, right? So, but that's up to you. You can still take the same 16 to 18 weeks for a 5k if you really want to. Nothing wrong with that. But the point is that particularly for marathon or half marathon, I feel like this works quite well. This period of base training, 4 to 6 weeks, where you just get your stamina and endurance back up and you get used to doing longer mileage at slower pacing. And then as you go through your base training, your slow pace gets a bit quicker, and by the end of the 6 weeks your kind of slow runs are they're not marathon pace, but they're getting closer to marathon pace, you know, because you're able to do that because your body's adjusting. It wants you to go a bit quicker because it can, you know. So that's the logic. What tends to crop up during all this is life and gets in the way. But we'll go through that, some pitfalls and what you should do in more detail in other videos. But I want to talk more about the plan in this one. And so we've gone high mileage on a Tuesday, and like I said, that could be anywhere between 15 and 20 miles. Actually, it could be less than 15. So, like for instance, tomorrow I may not do 15 miles. I might do 11 or 13 in my first week, because it's quite a lot, right? And particularly those of you that haven't done lots of marathons, to jump up straight away to doing a 15 miler is quite severe, right? So, but it's still whatever it is in your plan, your long run should be long enough for it to feel a bit taxing, and getting your body used to running long mileage. But for me, yeah, this week probably, actually thinking about it, I'm starting to backtrack. Thinking about where I am at the moment, I'll probably do somewhere around 11 to 13 miles, which will suit me fine, actually, having done that half marathon. And then on the Wednesday I'll reduce the mileage from the day before, and I'll do it nice and easy. So probably another this week anyway, probably another 10 to 12k. Thursday I'll probably do a tempo run with my club, so that's normally around sort of 10 to 12k faster pace. Friday I'll do a kind of recovery session, which will be more like 5 to 8k slow, ready for the park run the next day, which will be my speed session on the Saturday. And then on the Sunday I'll probably look to do somewhere between 8 and 10 miles, and this is the start of my block. And so initially, I haven't worked all that out, but initially it's going to be around sort of somewhere between 40-50 miles, and then bit by bit, week by week, that'll jump up. By the end I want it to be probably, I want to be looking at about 80 miles by the end of my base training for the week. You don't have to do 80 miles, that's just my preference. I find I've been doing this now since 2022, so a few years, and I've got up to that level of mileage, and that seems about max to me. Don't really like going above that. I think it's quite a lot, to be honest. You hear other YouTubers like Joanna, who regularly goes over 100-mile weeks. That's too much for me. I tried it and I got injured, hurt my ankle, and I realised that what someone who's in the, I guess he's in his early 30s or even late 20s can do isn't necessarily good for someone in his 50s, right? So each to their own, but the plan I'm going to follow is definitely suitable for you older gentlemen and ladies to follow. I think you'll get a lot out of it, but those who are new to running marathons, just beware. I've run a few now, so what I do won't necessarily be a good idea for you guys. So when I first ran my first marathon, I think the most I ever got up to was 45 miles a week, which doesn't sound a lot, right? But for your first marathon, I think that's almost acceptable, right? You just got to be careful you don't overcook yourself if you're doing your first marathon. So easy to get carried away with the enthusiasm, and often the plans that you've got don't take into account the fact that you've not been running much before. So like when I ran, I picked a plan that was particularly for novices, and it built me up steadily to my longest run, which was 20 miles. So that's another thing to talk about. So generally in one go, the longest I'll do throughout my whole marathon block is 20 miles. And there is logic behind that. So why don't I go and prove that I can run 24, 25, 26 miles, so I know I can be ready for the marathon? Well, it's because the clever people, cleverer people than me, have worked out, for the vast majority of us, after 20 miles, any benefits that we might get are negated by potential injury, fatigue, and basically wearing us out for our marathon. So the idea of running 24 miles, 25 miles as a security blanket, so that you know come marathon day you'll be able to do that, is obviously appealing. It was appealing to me, and many people do it, right? Particularly those with more experience, those that are, into doing ultras. For them it's not so much of an issue, but for novices or people like me who've only been doing this thing for a few years, I think 20 is perfectly fine. So the key for me is not really the distance, but getting your body used to running that long distance. So it's much better to run 3 or 4 20-mile runs during your training block than one 24, 25 mile run. It's so much better for you to get your body used to going 20 miles, and this is all by the end of your training block, not during your base training. During my base training I will hit 20 miles at the end of it, but that'll probably be only one 20 miler, maybe 2 if I do 6 weeks of base training. But for novices, for new runners, you definitely don't want to be doing more than one. But by the end of the block, the 16 weeks, ideally you've got your body used to running 20 miles, so you've done it 3, possibly 4 times, and nothing within 3 weeks of your marathon. You don't do anything like that within 3 weeks. So don't stress, these are just guidelines. If you only ever do 1 20-mile run or 2, that's fine. Your body won't be as used to running it, but there's no reason why you can't. My first marathon, the Milton Keynes Marathon, I did it in 3 hours 12 in the Nike Invincibles, the version 1, and they were very soft and spongy, but they're not the best marathon shoe, because your foot kind of sinks into them, and it definitely bottomed out by the end of that marathon. But you know, I'd only done, I think, 2 20-milers. One was a race, which was the Milton Keynes Twin Lakes. So anyone who's looking in the south of England that's looking for a good race to do, a month before the London Marathon, I think it's about 23rd of March, Twin Lakes is really good. It's a 20-mile race, and it'll give you an idea of where you are, but it's, you know, not within your period of time when you're supposed to be reducing the mileage. It's, you know, it's a good month away from race day, so you should be fine to give it a good go and pushing yourself. So that's a really good one. And then after you've done that, you can start to think about tapering and reducing your marathon, reducing your mileage, sorry. So yeah, so going back to the plan, you need to gradually increase your mileage each week, and so I like to do each of the days, I like to increase the mileage a little bit. So 10k to this Monday, 11k next Monday, maybe 11 miles. I should stick to the same unit of measurement, shouldn't I? Alright, let's say, I don't know, 14k this Tuesday, 15k next Tuesday, and so on. So we get to a point where, and I know that was wrong maths, by the way, we get to the point, but you get my point, you gradually increase it, and you know, by the end of your base training, you're now looking at, you're doing somewhere between 40 and 80 miles, depending on your level and your experience, and you know, and how many marathons you run, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of all I want to say before I hit the gym. Here we go. You know what it says? Every step counts. So basically, just finished at the gym. Don't know why I said basically then. But anyway, finished at the gym, done some strength and conditioning, lots of stretching, foam rolling, that kind of thing. Ready for tomorrow's longer run. Legs are feeling a little achy. To be expected, you know. A couple of days ago I was running a half marathon, so you know, at a new PB pace, so you know, I should expect not to feel amazing today, and I don't, to be honest, but that's fine. So I'll go and have my nice salt bath now and relax a little bit ahead of going to the cinema. My final birthday treat of the day, other than maybe an early night. That's how boring it is first week in January. I'm guessing you get where I'm coming. Whoa, God, that dog nearly took me out then. You guess where I'm coming from. That was close. Anyway, well, what was I saying? Yes, so I should mention the shoes. So we are actually a shoe review channel after all, as well as a marathon training, 5k racing, half marathon racing, you got it channel. We're everything. But the shoes, so it's important when you're doing your marathon trainings to pick the right shoes, okay? So for your easy runs, obviously I've got something like, got my keys are falling out of my pocket. I've got the Novablast 5 on at the moment, which is perfect for this kind of run. Nice and soft. It's got a little bit in it You don't feel like you're working against the shoe. It's exactly what I like. I don't like my foot to sink too much into the foam. This is soft but firm enough so that doesn't happen. So it's a good choice for your easy runs, or even when you're going at kind of medium pace. It's a very versatile shoe, one that I think is a good all-rounder for you. You can do lots of your runs with this shoe, even your long runs. In my last marathon block, I did a lot of my long runs in the Novablast, and before that the Speed 3 actually. When I say the last London one, Chicago definitely mixed it up a lot more with different types of shoes for Chicago and Berlin. But anyway, point is, have a nice forgiving pair for your easy runs there, and then for your long runs pick something you could even do in the Novablast, or something that's kind of cushioned, that's going to take the impact over those many miles. Superblast is a great choice. I haven't got a Superblast 2, but obviously that would be a good choice. Max X2, another great choice. Hoka Max X2. Neo Vista, great for long runs. Another one, I might actually use that tomorrow, I'm not sure. I might actually go with the Cielo X1, which brings me on to my other topic of conversation, using super shoes, racing shoes for your training runs. There's nothing to say that you can't do that, apart from you might want to be saving them for just racing. But if you've got a super shoe like the Cielo X1 from Hoka, it's a pretty durable shoe actually. So it's up the wall, I think. So you can use it for lots of different kinds of runs, not just your race. It's probably one of my favourite shoes for doing tempo runs or long runs actually. So it's quite a viable option for me tomorrow to use the Cielo. Probably use a bit more when I'm upping the pace a bit towards the end of this base training phase or support phase. You've got the More V5 again, another shoe that would be great for your cushion long runs. Gives you a bit extra. Prime X Strung 2. I've used them a hell of a lot actually for my long runs. Superb shoes for that. Especially the second version, which is max cushion but also more stable. So yeah, really good shoe for that. So I guess what I'm saying is, think about your footwear based on what it is you're going to achieve that day. So if you're going to do an easy run, pick a Novablast or pick a More V5 New Balance, something like that, Hurricane 24. If you're going to go long miles and you want something that's max cushion protected but maybe gives you a little bit of assistance, the Mac X2 is a perfect shoe, or Superblast with that great FF Turbo, or if you've got the second one, FF Turbo Plus foam, perfect. So all of those kind of shoes, perfect for those long runs where you want max cushion but you also want a bit of assistance to get you through the mileage. And Cielo X1 is also a viable shoe for that. So also remember, if you've got a super shoe that you've basically used quite a lot and you want to retire it from racing, it doesn't mean you have to retire it from running. You can start using it for your training runs. And then obviously your speed work or your racing, your park runs, pick out your shoe of choice for faster pace. I've got loads of different ones, but you'll have your own favourite. That's all I want to talk about now. Hopefully that's been useful. You can see my hedge, which isn't very useful, but green, and we all like green. See you later. Bye bye.